Iorì Wase's podcast is brought to you by First Nations Fiber. On today's episode of the Beading Table, we'll be talking about what happens when an order goes south, some of our favorite materials we like to use, and the rapid fire questions from Instagram and Facebook. Have a listen.
First Nations Wireless is now First Nations Fiber. You've seen our team working through the community to get you connected. From the new development to the OCR, from the 207 to Clay Mountains, FN Fiber makes fiber optic internet easy for everyone. Coming to Ganhawaga soon. Visit radio.fnfiber.com to sign up today.
Hello and welcome to the Beading Table with your hosts Tekaronhiahkhwa, Standup, and Leith, Mahkewa. Today is the taping of our April episode, which is our 4th episode. And right now, we don't necessarily have a title of sorts. We were going to talk about some of our favorite things and some of our, items that bring us inspiration or some tips and tricks that we have for our specific projects. But before we get into all that, we are going to talk about a very hot topic. And it is what happens when an order goes south, when an artist and client are not on the same page. Now, I'm going to be real with everybody. It's been playing out over social media, this question. And it's something that happens, not necessarily talked about because nobody really wants to talk about this issue because no one wants to air their dirty laundry, right? But if we don't talk about it, then we can't learn from other people's experiences and we won't have any direction for if and when, hopefully not, it happens to us. So Margaret, what is your thoughts on this particular topic? What happens when an order goes south? And it could be general, right? It could be something on your part, it could be something on their part. It could just be a total crash and fail and a bomb, because sometimes that's what happens, right? Sometimes you have an order and it's a total fail.
I don't even know where to start with all of that. So it happens, obviously. It really sucks when it happens. For myself, I guess I can only really talk about my own experiences. And then I think now how I would handle it now and how I've handled it in the past. Have I had it with beading? I can't honestly say that I've had the experience with beading, I don't think. I've had some cases where it was just a shit show, really, but it's not really in the same category, I guess. But so years ago, I took on a painting project. I think I talked about this before, but, somebody had ordered something and in the end, she couldn't take it. And it was a lot of money. Worth a lot of money. And it was a very specific painting to the point where she wanted some of her animals in the picture, and which I didn't do at the time. I never got around to doing it. So I think in the end, she didn't take it. And I was new to the whole situation. And even now still, I don't take down payments. I don't do stuff like that, money up front, because I work. That's my goal, basically. Sometimes. Yeah, generally, I don't take the money up front. So it was the same situation back then. And in the end, I just resold it to somebody else. That's basically what I did. So it was to me, it wasn't a big, not that it wasn't a big deal. Yeah, you put a lot of time, you put a lot of efforts in it. But with the money-wise, I was kind of oh, well, you know what, I'll just deal with it somewhere else.
Just sell it someplace else.
Yeah, to me. So in that sense, it wasn't that big of a deal. It can be annoying though, you go through all of that work and then it's, it's not secure after that. But now I don't know how I would handle it the same way, honestly. For me right now, the select few jobs that I have taken money right away, it's always in the back of my head though, that if something falls through, say I can't complete this order on time, or if the client doesn't like it or whatever, I'm always prepared to kind of
pay the money back,
to give that money back.
I spend it and then I'm grasping at straws. No.
Well, yeah, there's times where, it's got to pay the bills. But in general though, I that's always at the back of my head, especially large orders. Okay, how the heck am I going to pay thousands of dollars back if they give it? That's generally why I don't accept money right away, because I'm hey, sometimes you got to put that on bills right away. So that's kind of I don't like to spend the money before I actually have the money, I guess, in some cases, But how do I handle, I guess like communication is the biggest thing for me. Like we've said that before, when you are working with anybody, any client, you have to make sure that you're on the same page at all times.
For sure.
At all times, And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, honestly, in the past, I've taken on jobs where things were already dicey from the beginning, where it was like, okay, they chose this and it wasn't something that I totally jived with, where I was like, it's not my thing, but that's what they ordered, so I'll try to do it the best that I can and still have me in there, but I'll be honest, where I haven't, like, I wouldn't reach out in the past because I'm like,
reach out in what sense? Like to a client?
Like I wouldn't show them because I don't want them to say like, I don't like it and then I got to change it all, that kind of thing, but I've kind of learned from doing that. I don't do that anymore, like, because there's a chance that you're going to go halfway through that beadwork. And if you send it and show it and they don't like it, then you have to fix it. You have to do something.
Because you can't if you know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. Like, if they don't know, then I don't have to fix anything. But in the end, that's worse because then you have a final finished product to show somebody. And if they don't like it, like, then what do you do from there? So for me personally, I can't say that I'm always willing to ask kiss. I'm not. If somebody doesn't like it, we will do the best to come up with some kind of a solution. If it's something that I can fix, I will. If it's something where I can't, then we kind of part ways. We have to agree to disagree in that sense, Somebody had wrote something on social media and I did comment on the post where I kind of said, like I worked really hard to have my beadwork hold a good name, or myself as a business person keep a good name on my work. So you have to
pick and choose your battle.
Yeah, and you have to hold a respect for other people in that sense, like, and stuff doesn't always play out the way you like it to, and what's, the common ground that can be reached so that your name isn't being pulled through the mud, you're not getting blasted all over the place, and a space where you also feel okay with, in the end, once it's all done. So for me, that's kind of what I kind of look at, like, but yeah, to me, it's like communication is key. Like you really have to check every step of the way. You have to make sure, and you have to be vocal. If you take on a job and somebody says, okay, well, I want all fluorescence and I want shit brown on everything, like, like if that is not your vibe, if you do not like that, tell them.
Yeah.
Right off the bat to say, you know what, there's times where I don't like doing animals. I honestly hate doing animals. And people will ask like, hey, can you put a bear on this? Can you put it? Even my own mother, she's so poor. She's like, can you put that? And I was like, Ista, I hate doing animals. Like, I'm not putting on a bear. I'm not, So it's things like that. You have to be upfront. You have to, respect yourself enough to voice that to people. And if they don't like it, then it's totally fine. There are other bead workers. And yes, sometimes you want that job, but, don't sacrifice yourself, for those situations. Sometimes you have to let some things go. So that's my 2 cents, I guess, on some of it. I don't know if I touched on everything. Maybe more will come out, but.
Well, before I get into my specific thoughts about the question, there was somebody who actually wrote in about this specific topic because I had posted on Instagram, like, what happens? If you had any comments to let us know. And one artist just said she took on an order from somebody and she got the colors and whatnot. And she just said that she had to professionally, as best she could, just say to her that she felt that she just didn't really like what she was doing. And she felt shitty about it, like she didn't want to not do it, but she just didn't like it. And she said she felt really shitty for canceling. But at the same time, she said, I'm happy I didn't sell something that I didn't even like or that had my name on it. And it just touches on basically what you said about, your integrity as an artist and keeping your good name. But what about from the client's perspective, right? Like, what about from the client? Like, you have this anticipation of this wonderful art, and then now you have somebody who says, sorry, I can't do it because, I really don't like it, or it's just not jiving with whatever. I try to think about that a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, well, oh well. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
oh well, in the sense that, I wouldn't want somebody working on something that was so important to me if they really didn't want to.
Yeah.
And if it really didn't like, if they didn't weren't like 100% into it, so I get like both perspectives. I don't think I've ever had to have ordered anything that myself personally and it went awry or something like that. And I've never been the disgruntled client justified in their like annoyance of an artist or someone who didn't follow through on what they said. Hopefully I'm not on the opposite end of anybody's thing. Like, I don't think so. I hope not. I mean, not that I can remember, but who knows? Like, with trauma, sometimes you block out those situations. But yeah, like I can get it. Like I get it, the frustration on the client's part. But in terms of myself, I would try my best to fulfill an order. And if it fell through, I would. And if it fell through on my part in this sense that I backed out or whatnot, I would give the money back. I take down payment. I would give the money back because then they have nothing. And like you said, like if I have something that I worked on and the client didn't like it and they gave me money, well, I could sell that somewhere. Like you said, like the same thing, like I could sell it. But then that person has nothing. Like for myself, I don't think that's fair. But to each his own. And if you have an agreement with a client and that's what you said, that you're not giving the money back. And I'm talking specifically about what we saw on social media, because that's what generated this conversation. And
that's what formulated a lot of the questions that we received. So
yeah, and I'm not going to be like naive and say that it's not being talked about, because it is, because I've heard it all over the place, you know. And I feel bad for the artists who are on the other side of it too. Like, like if people are not saying nice things about you, or not even not saying nice things about you, or telling the truth of the situation that happened between you and somebody else. Like, it's not like, or whatever the situation might be. Like, I feel bad. I feel bad for all parties involved. I don't believe I've ever had a circumstance where I've been the artist and have not fulfilled an order kind of thing. I've had orders and the start of it was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this. Like, these are the colors. But then I went and then I finished an excellent piece and went back to the client and said, you know what? At first, and I'm upfront, like I'm an upfront person. I was like, at first I really didn't care for this, but it challenged me so much that I made it work and it turned out really good. And I've had situations and clients where, like, I do a lot of custom work. I am like, I might not be like super on time in the sense that, like, I am maybe sticking to my timelines in the sense of like, oh yeah, we're going to try a fitting here, we're going to try a fitting there. But I get the job done when it's supposed to be done. I make sure that all my colors are okayed by the people involved. I always send pictures all the time. Some people say that I might be too
on the ball.
No, some people might say I'm too obliging to a to a client, or even kiss ass. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I work damn hard to make sure that my name is stellar, and that I provide the clients with what they want and what they are paying for. Like, if you're paying for a custom, it ain't no like $100 item here you're buying, So I get it. Like, I want people to be treated how I would like to be treated in that case. And if I'm giving you like thousands of dollars to make something that I'm going to wear on my most special day, well, then I want to make sure that that person's treated that way. It's a really touchy situation, and everybody has to, like, like you said, like, have communication, be open with the clients, be open with the artists, know your boundaries for sure.
What you can take on, what you can't. That's the biggest thing for me. That was a huge learning curve, especially if this is your business. When this is your business and you're not working elsewhere, that money, that's your income. But you also have to be able to say no. If you're too busy.
In a timely manner. Don't wait till the last minute to tell a client. And at the same time, don't wait till the last minute to tell an artist, like, hey, I need this thing. Well,
yeah, that, oh God. But I find even that, though, like last year is perfect example. I am a fast beater. Yes, I can produce things a little quicker. This is my job, though. Like, I'm sitting at home 24/7 doing it. That's why I can say, like, yeah, I can get it done in this kind of, time slot. Yeah. But last year I took on too much, because just because, you know what, I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it on. Oh, okay, yeah, I need that extra money. Oh, okay, yeah, I can get this done in that time. So you also have to ask yourself, like, can I really? Because in reality, like, you know, you also, when you say yes to a client, there's a backlist that you also need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Can you take on that job and still keep your house clean, get your kids to school? You know, like for me, helping out my mother or my parents, you know, like that's life. Or my kids have hockey games or they have basketball.
I just got COVID and I
Yes.
couldn't bead. And my husband at one point said, I was like walking around like, oh my God, like I feel a little bit better. He's like, well, bead. I go, but I can't because I got a headache. Like,
yeah, you can't concentrate.
I can't concentrate. So like, you know, life happens. Like, and then, but deadlines are still deadlines. They're not gonna, you know?
So for me, it's like I had to do a reality check too, and then keep that in the back of my head all the time. So when I take on a job, like realistically, yeah, if I'm sitting there, I can. If I'm sitting there all day, I can bust out a pair of moccasins for you. Is that realistic though? Because you know what? Somebody's going to come home and say, Stop, can you drive me here? I need supper. Can you feed me? Can you? And then you have to stop. So those are, you know, sounds ridiculous and it should always be playing in your head, but sometimes it doesn't, you know. You take things on in a whim or feel like, yes, I can do it. But, you know, you have to be realistic when you're taking on jobs too. Don't overload yourself, you know. Put your attention on where it needs to be done, you know. So those are other things too. I was just thinking too, I had another, actually, I remembered this was like the worst, I think, job that I ever had to deal with. It was for painting though. It wasn't for beadwork, but I had a lady that I used to work with years and years ago. And I had just really started, I guess, professionally painting at that time, taking on jobs and things like that. And the woman had an old rocking chair, a rocking horse that she wanted painted. And it was for a baby shower and blah, blah, blah. So I had a deadline. So I agreed and I took it on. And she worked with me and I had it at work. So in between my breaks, on my lunch, after school, at home, at night, I was working on this thing. So she wanted it to look like a carousel horse. She gave me, there was like beyond communication, I think.
Because you saw her every day, right?
Yes. So every day she would walk in the room, check on it, like come in and check on it and whatever. And it was like to the point where, which is fine if you're on the same page. But this is a whole nother aspect too, though, is that you could be in sync with a customer to start, because that's what happened. She gave me pictures. She showed me colors, picked everything. I started it. She would come in. Oh, well, I don't really like that color. Can we do this? And then give me a whole different scheme. So then I agreed. I changed it up. Totally fine. But then she came again and then again and then again. And it was constant, like constantly changing. That's when you have to know when to cut ties.
I'd be like, hey, listen, lady, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would love to finish your project. You're not giving me the chance to even finish. This is what I'm going with. That's it.
Yeah.
And I would never bring it back to work.
Oh, God. Yeah. I didn't. After a while, I had to stop. Like, you know, which kind of sucked, though, because I had small babies at the time. So when I'm home, I'm home. So I was working like late into like after they're gone to bed, you know. So, yeah. So in the end with that, she tried to stiff me because she said that it wasn't what she wanted.
Meanwhile, she saw you working the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. And she knew that she had changed the colors 8,000 times on me and the whole scheme and the whole layout of like a saddle. I painted a saddle. I painted reins on it, the mouth thing and everything. And she changed even that like a million times. So in the end, yeah, she tried to say, well, I'm not paying for what, you know, like because it's not what I asked for. I was like, lady, you don't even know what you wanted. Like, you know, in the end. So I think she had given me a down payment and I was like, look, that down payment is what you're paying for now. Like in the end, that's where we agreed because she did take the item though. In the end, she did take the horse and I said, well, I'll give it back to you. It's totally fine. You can take it with all the whatever's on there because I did do work and you are taking it. So I was like, if you don't want to pay it, then I'm keeping the horse. Like that's where we're at, you know? So that's kind of what we did. And she paid less, though, for all that work because it was whatever the down payment was at the time. I don't remember. So that's kind of the only nightmare. Yeah.
Because now my wheels are turning, right? Oops.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm trying to get rowdy in the studio. Okay, so with that story,
Yes.
now I have a question. And maybe a question for everyone who's listening too. When you give a down payment, and in your case, the client took the piece and you kept the money, would you say that whatever is worked on up until the down payment, if the client didn't like it, they could take it?
Yeah. Wait, what? Say it again.
If I have a falling out with a client, say I'm working on a grad order, I am working on a grad order. This is not my specific story. This is just a hypothetical because I love my clients and I love my orders, every one of them. No. Yeah, I do kind of sometimes, even though sometimes they get my nerves, but whatever, no one in particular. All orders get on everybody's nerves, I think.
Yeah.
To some extent. Anyway, I digress. Now, so I have a fallout with my client. They've given me a down payment. I've worked on a few things in the sense that, like say I worked on a pair of moccasins and I'm on the cuffs now and they really don't like anything and they say, never mind. Okay, so now I have moccasins and now I have cuffs, half done, let's say. Like, I don't want that, but I'll take them and you just keep the down payment.
That's fine. Like, to me, it's like, yeah, I'll go as far as that needs to be or I'll give you your money back. Like, that's basically how I would do it. Like, with that lady, she wanted the horse. She still wanted the horse. It wasn't my rocking. Like, I didn't want it anyway, but, so I was like, all right, well, your down payment is paying for it. And I think she did give me a little bit more because I was like, well, there's hours and hours put into this thing. I don't think it was the full amount that we agreed on or whatever, but she took it back. So she paid. She paid for whatever work was done on it. If she wasn't willing to pay, then I would have kept the horse. Like to me, business has to have an exchange. There has to be some kind of a back and forth. That's particularly how I feel with the down payment. Like, I don't know. It doesn't sit okay with me to keep like a down payment if they're not getting a product, I guess. Yeah. Because even that, like material, like to me, I look at it like a down payment secures the item, but in the end, it's for that client. So they should be taking something.
Well, secures your time for one thing, right?
The time, yes. But if you're going to be reselling that, what are you reselling it at? Are you now making double?
Yeah, off of what somebody
so that's the way I look at it.
Paid part of, but didn't take.
Yeah, so
it wasn't allowed. Yeah, I don't see that.
So to me, that's how I fabricate it, I guess, in my head for my own business, where
it would be a win-win. In our case, if that's how we work, it would be a win-win in our situation.
Yeah, because you're making a lot more off of that.
You're making the down payment if you didn't give it back.
If things fall through, I give that money back. To me, it's not because I'm gonna take that set and I'm gonna sell it somewhere else. Like,
and then you made the money off the down payment if you didn't give it back, and then you make more money off of the piece that you know.
Yeah, so I'm making like a lot, which is that's great, but I don't know. For me, it wouldn't sit well with me. I wouldn't. So yeah, in that sense, like I had with that other client, like she took the horse back in the end, so she did pay for what she took. Yeah. Basically, even if it wasn't the full amount, but we just, I washed my hands of the whole situation after that because I was like, you know what, we're not getting anywhere and I just want you out of my hair now. Like, but no, for me, I there has to be some sort of an exchange or some sort of something. You gotta come to some kind of a midway point, So yeah, if they're paying you like, okay, here's $500 and then and they don't like it or there's something, then if it's not complete, if it's complete or whatever, then give them what that down payment could pay for or whatever. So that's me personally. Like, I guess to each their own, but that's how I would work it.
So everybody who's listening, our main takeaway is communication. Lay down your boundaries. Make sure you are checking in as much as you can and as much as you feel comfortable. Yeah. And again, I think it comes with experience, right? Like, I don't believe I would be the same, like this forthcoming or this communicative with clients if I was my younger self. I know I didn't probably have the confidence.
Me too.
But keep up the communication. Take orders only that for sure that you can complete.
Yeah.
And
give your 100% too.
Yeah, and have some grace for the clients, and clients have some grace for the artists. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes too. Yeah. And hopefully, we don't have to see people like not being so kind to each other. But I mean, what are we going to do? Like people are going to do that. I'm sure I've done it in the past, but you know.
Yeah, and it is what it is. And we also have to speak on behalf of all beaders too, because, you know, as clients, people ordering, you have to remember that, you know what, it has to be like, as a client, check in. If you don't hear from them, check in. You need to also be checking in all the time. As much as beaders may not like that, if you're unsure, if something was unclear, you need to check in with them. Be polite.
If you have a change of heart on something, like, you know,
tell them right away. Do not wait till the last minute, because that is a lot of work. And in the end, sometimes you may get somebody to say, well, sorry, you know what? I don't have the time to do it. And bead workers have every right to say that too, because it is a business. Yeah. If they can't fulfill it, you know, it kind of swings both ways. Respect and communication. Yeah. You have to get, and from the get-go, like, don't be waiting till the last second now, you know.
From the get-go, what? Like, don't be me who like waits till the last minute to get all our orders done?
No, I mean, like,
and lives off the down payment. A problem, I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, if there's a problem, don't wait till like the end. Like, okay, surprise, you know. So yeah, it sucks. It's a shitty situation. And, you know, I had an interesting conversation about it with somebody who had said, you know, when things like this fall through within the beading community, because that is what it is. Like, situations happen all over the Confederacy and everybody hears about it because you have social media, you have inboxes, you have all of that. So these things go around. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh no, we don't talk. Everybody talks. So it was interesting what the topic was about, how, you know what, these situations kind of set a lot of other people up too, in a sense where it puts clients, you kind of like, I guess it shines a light on all bead workers. Like, can everybody be trusted now to fulfill like certain jobs? Like, that's the topic that we were talking about. Like, because this isn't something new either. Like these issues, like I've heard of other issues with other bead workers like years ago too, where people weren't fulfilling their thing, weren't getting back to the clients after they messaged them to say, when am I going to have my stuff ready on time? Not getting an answer, you know, getting pushed and whatever. So it kind of like, does it put a bad name on everyone? Was the kind of like the question, you know? So. But it goes both ways too, because then it's also like, if you have a hard client too, who wants to take on a hard client? Like, you know, so I find like when there's situations like this, the best way to deal about the whole thing, first and foremost, is privately, you know, because it sucks to have on both accounts, beader and client.
You should be having that conversation privately first before it goes to social media. Like if you can't even have that conversation, then maybe in the beginning you picked the wrong beater. Like you have to like there's a like maybe everybody can't work with Leith Mahkewa. Maybe she's just too like procrastinating and whatever and all this stuff. Maybe people can't work with that. You gotta like shop around. Like you want to find somebody that jives like with your one, maybe the aesthetic, but two, like, you know, your personality. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. So there's a lot of it's like it's a hot topic. There's a lot to unfold and unravel on that on both accounts, you know, so it's a lot.
It's a lot, but we wanted to talk about it because it was a very hot topic, and we are all about the hot topics and getting the
transparency. Like we always said, you know what, we're going to talk about what's going on.
And that was really what was going on. So I thought it would be very good to talk about that. So now to get on to what our original topic was going to be on today's fabulous episode of the Beading Table, it's called Some of Our Favorite Things. So we had said we were going to talk about some of the things, the materials, the little doodad things that we like to use in beading. And then we also asked some people to send in some questions regarding like different beading stuff. So Margaret, here is one of your favorite things. It says small bird scissors. Please elaborate.
Those tiny little stork scissors. I don't know, they're about 3 inches long. I like them.
And you can take them on the plane.
Yes, because the blade is small enough. So you could take those on the plane. I had white ones originally. Actually, you know what? There's like a little bit of nostalgia to them. They remind me of my grandmother. Aww. You know, because she had her little sewing kit all the time and whatnot. So I'm pretty sure. Well, she had longer ones though. She had they were bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I had liked them, and I found like little white ones, and I am like color wise, I'm a little crazy with certain things. Like I like neutrals. I like dark black. I like white.
You like to put things in order. That's the kind of
Yeah, a little crazy. But yeah, so at Nisia's, she had they were like matte black, and I saw them and I was like, I need those.
You need them in your life.
Yes, I already had a pair, but I was like, oh no, I need those. So I went and I bought 2 of them. So I have 2 of them.
If I look in your bead thing, your bead like bag or your container, they'll be in there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're there now.
So small black scissors, and you can find them. And at the time you said Nisia's, right? Nisia's Accessories?
The black ones, yeah.
Here in Ganawage, shout out to Nisia's Accessories on the beading table. Okay, so we have Nymo thread size B.
B, because we are on back order right now.
No, we are not.
Oh, yes, good.
It just came in the other day, but because I was sick, I didn't do all the stuff. So next week at Traditions in Ganawage, shout out to Traditions, you can find Nymo thread B.
Yes. All right. So I am a B person all the way. Right now, I am working with D.
Okay, everybody, it's a little bit thicker.
Yeah, it's
I will
like
admit, it's thicker.
2 strands, like hair strands thicker, but it makes all the difference. For me, anyways, you know what? Like when I pull it through, I want to pull it clean and easy, and I don't want to be pinching nothing and pulling and whatever. So that's what happens with the D. So I don't like that. So I use B, and I use, I don't know what they're called. They're
John James needles.
Yes, the Sharps size 12. Yeah, that's what I use. I only use those. Yeah. I have gone through what are they, Eagle Eye or the Golden Eye ones. I hate, well, sorry, I don't want to, shame any, no, I personally don't like them because the head is the eye is too thick. It's too big. Yeah. You're fighting with beads, whatever. Yeah. I don't like that. So I do only those needles. I'm kind of a snob, I guess, with some of my stuff. Like,
I think a lot of people fall in that category, not necessarily with needles, but in terms of like, preference. Like when you're an artist, you have a certain kind of preference. Mm-hmm. I like Nymo thread B, but I also like Nymo thread O and double O.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, but you use like
I use small beads, but sometimes like I'm not like, I guess I'm not a snob in the sense where I won't use other threads. If I've got only O, man, I'm just using O. If I got like whatever, I'm using that. Like I don't really care, but I do care about one big thing. And it might rock everybody's world. I do care not to use glue at all. I am a not glue person. I will not say what I use, but I will not use glue. I am not about that. I know.
I'll
Nobody is going to listen to Margaret.
She just tells lies.
No. But for me, I have to say it's been about maybe, about maybe 10 years, if not a little bit less. My hands get sore. And that's the only reason, like I can't use glue. And I do not use cardboard, not saying what I use. I do not use cardboard at all. I am not about that life. And I respect people who do, because you know what? It's a hard life, literally a hard life for me if I have to use cardboard. Yeah. So, so shout out to all those cardboard and whiteboard and every other color board people.
Yeah, I have retired my cardboard.
Get out of town.
Yes, I have, because for that reason, my hands hurt. Like,
I wonder where she learned that from.
Yeah, no, it's I'm getting older. Well, come on, now I'm not that old, but you know what I mean. Like, and I have to. This is my job. I have to protect my hands. So I had to stop. Mm-hmm. I love cardboard. I loved my cardboard. I specifically used cereal box.
Oh my God, that's the hardest one.
Yes, I loved it.
But that's old school though, because that's how we learned too. Like in the beading group that I was in, we learned on like cereal boxes, and then somebody said, "Oh yeah, maybe we should try the bakery boxes."
Yeah.
And then somebody said, "White Bristol board is thick. White Bristol board, depending on where you go, is thicker than the colored one."
Yeah.
So that's like
even in the whites though, there's a variation. Yes. So, but you know what? The reasoning for the cardboard for me is I'm a rough beater. So I'll snap beat like my needles like a million times. Like when I'm going,
because you're going through the cardboard.
Yeah, but I'm always rough anyways. Like the way I don't know, whatever. So the cardboard would hold up better. Like when I use Pellin now. That's my stabilizer. That's not a secret because I teach and I'm like, hey, get Pellin. So I use that now. And even that now I notice like I crinkle it like because
That's why I can't use cardboard because I don't like it when it makes that. I had to sit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the reason why, the backstory behind cardboard. So how you say crinkles, Pellin crinkles. I had a situation where I was beading something and it was an order and I used cardboard and the god darn cardboard for what I did something, I bent it.
Yeah.
And I could not.
There's no going back.
And I was like, F this life. One, I'm killing myself because you're killing yourself. And, you know, like I wasn't as experienced. I was experienced, but wasn't as experienced as I am now. So, of course, maybe I was using different materials. Like now I know like all of my own tricks of what needle to use with what or what thread to use with what. Maybe I wasn't using the right thing or maybe I was using small beads and I was just trying so hard and I was pulling so hard. And I was like, man, like all that work and it just like ruined.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to find something else to use. So, but yeah, shout out to all you cardboard carrying beaders out there. How about creativity? Can we give a shout out to like one of our favorite things? And we said creativity. Creativity is one of our favorite things. Imagine a life with no creativity world. It would be very, like is outside, very
very blonde gray.
Blonde gray, but yeah, like one of our favorite things. And like, I mean, I like my creativity myself. Like, I like my aesthetic. I don't think it's for everybody, but you know, it's mine and I love it.
Yes. Okay, so I'm a bead snob. I am a bead snob. I'm
here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. She reaps the benefits because I predominantly like to use Miyuki 15.
Seed beads.
Seed beads.
Found at Traditions.
Yeah. So pretty much.
Hopefully soon on the website.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Leith beads, but not yet. Anyway, next. No.
So I use those. Secondly, I will use Charlottes. I do like Charlottes, but I do not like that. Sometimes the hole in the Charlottes are...
There's a specific color, right? Because I know a lot of people talk about... I'm not sure if it's white. I'm not sure what color it is. But
all of them. They're all like that. Okay. The holes are inconsistent. So when you're beading, you're sifting. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the right needle, if your thread's like the D and too thick, the
D is too thick.
You gotta go through all of the stupid beads. Yeah, so that.
Okay, so I will say, for me, I'm not a bead snob. I'll use whatever and anything except plastic. I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going there for like plastic sequins, unfortunately, either.
Yeah.
Just because, and I always like refer to this because when I was at a show, because when you're at a show or you're some places, like you have to, like your materials matter.
Yeah.
It matters what you put on. And so I try not to like do that just because I worry,
Yeah.
I worry about
you
that.
don't want to go, I don't want to say cheap, but cheaper route. Like there's
just want to make sure
better
they're glass.
Quality. Yeah.
Glass or like natural stone or whatnot. Okay.
Yeah. I do like Tohos, but for flat stitch.
Because the hole is square, everybody. A Toho hole is more square. And then a Miyuki seed bead is more round. It's like a seed, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of like look.
Yeah. I find the Tohos, actually
they come in different colors. Yeah. So that's like what people like.
The colors are amazing. Yes. They're really nice on those. I like them, like I said, flat work. I really like to do them with, I will occasionally use them. Like my yoke right now that I just finished for my daughter is, the pink in there is Toho because the color, I was looking for a specific color and they come in beautiful colors. But I find for me, I'm not dissing them and not, everybody else does different beadwork. So, but for me, I can't get them to raise and look nice. Mm-hmm. I find it looks choppy. It almost turns into a delica, which I personally don't like delicas. Mm-hmm. I don't use them anymore. I used to, but I don't now that we have access to more beads. But yeah, I'm a snob in that way. I don't like delicas, and I find sometimes the Toho sit similar in a raise. For me, like how I do it, I'm like, oh, why does it, like I can't get it to
it's not round.
Yeah, I can't get it to change. So
it's
for
all
me,
preference,
yeah, so I end up like just sticking with my good old Miyukis, and I don't know. For me, I use that. Like specifically, I'm calling out Grant here. Grant, he always jokes about us in our 15s or size 15s. I love the 15s. Sometimes I'll use 11s though, just for trim work. I just started doing that just because, hey, it's faster and it fills up. But I specifically like I just find, because I guess I started with the 15s and smallers. When I go to an 11, I'm like, oh my God, it looks so big.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, like you said, like for trim work, size 15 would be good. I mean, size 11, but like it all depends on like the dimension. All the beads, Toho, Miyuki, Charlotte, Czech, Antique, they all add different dimensions to different people's work. So,
and it's like so cool to see how, like for me, it's because I don't work with them, like 11s. I don't really know how to use, or I guess I could, but I don't practice it. So I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's spacing and all of that. Like I would have to really practice it and do it a lot to know how to place it so that it's being used
as effectively as it can be, like when you get
because like you look 15. At Grant's stuff, he does like 11s a lot and other, and it's beautiful. Like, and I feel like when I put it on, it looks like this big chunky mess. Like, I don't know how to work with them that well. So so it's cool though to see that, like how people's styles are completely different with different sizes and stuff like that. So
I am all down. This is one of my favorite things, for a really good like carrying case or a little piece of like a plastic like container that holds like some good pens. And I must say, in the past recent years, I started using Indian Creek thread conditioner and the Emery products, and they're excellent. They can also be found on Traditions and soon on the Leith Beads website. But yeah, so those are some really good things that I like. And I must say, I did not think of it at first, but Margaret said it and I wrote it down. It says, the infamous art light.
Oh, yes.
Everybody, a round of applause for art light.
Yay, you need it.
Especially as you're getting older. In my case, I'm 44, and some people might not think that's old, but that's 44 years I was using these eyes. And let me tell you, it's work.
Yeah.
And you need some really good lighting. My dad always said, don't read in the dark.
Yeah.
Don't bead in the dark if you don't have to also, because, sometimes those colors change in the late nights.
And when you're young and you think like, oh yeah, I'm so tough, I can bead anywhere, I can bead in any lighting. Yeah, well, no. I'm pushing 40. I'm not even close. Well, yeah, I'm sort of close now, but I need an art light. And I'm getting to the point where I almost don't bead at night anymore because I'm trying to preserve my eyes. I got a long way to go and I don't want to be blind, So I used to feel like, oh yeah, no, I can do this. And no. Protect yourself, protect your hands, protect your eyes, like do what you can and save those extremities.
Awesome. Okay. Questions. Or are you done with your favorite things? We have flower patterns. That's pretty important, I think.
Yeah, your like favorite stuff. Flower patterns.
I keep mine in a little baggie.
Yeah, I have mine in a little baggie too. I have like a whole bunch. Oh, somebody, I'm not going to say her name because I don't think she wants, I didn't ask permission, but somebody I saw posted on Instagram, like I think that it was going around like their tables and, show your beading spots and whatever. And somebody had a little box. It was so cute. And then like it was open in the picture and then all her like little flower patterns and stuff like little, it was in there. And I was like, but it was, I don't remember offhand what the box looked like.
You know what? I saw some little boxes. I'm not sure where it was. And I thought, oh, I know where it was. It's when I went to Arizona and I went back. I was in Plattsburgh because, I had a big situation anyway, whatever, we won't go there. Anyway, I was in Plattsburgh and I went to Hobby Lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby. And they had these little tins and I was going to buy some for the store.
Maybe that's what it was. It was a tin or something. It was a box though.
Yes.
And it wasn't just like a little plastic see-through box. It was like a cute little box.
Yeah, I'm all for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it was something like that. So I was like, oh, that's so nice. I should do that. Right now, mine
to like the 1,000 things we have to carry our beads. It's so crazy.
So getting back to bags, I am a bag hoarder, collector. And it's like right now, like my sister-in-law had bought me this like really nice set for Christmas. It was like all makeup bags. I think it was Christmas or my birthday. It was all like toiletry bags, like makeup bags. And there was like maybe 3 in there, but each bag was different. And that's what it was supposed to be for, like my makeup or like travel, whatever. It's all being used for my beads. So because they're all different sizes too, so they're perfect. So I use that. I like the little zipper bags, like the little, I don't know how big they are.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And it needs a zipper because all my stuff goes flying all over the place. So I love those. Even in Hawaii, when I was away, I kept like I had to stop myself because I was like, oh, Leith would like that. Oh, I like that color. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to go broke now if I'm trying to buy all this crap. And I'm like, and we don't need it. We don't
need it. No, we got a lot to sell.
But yeah, I like bags, and I like carrying like tote bags. Like, ooh, I have to do a shout out to one of my friends, because my favorite bag, like my work bag that I bring to the shop every day, is my friend Dejoktu, Kelsey Deer. She has a small business that she's doing, and she makes like bags, school bags, like bike bags, but it's the quality of it should you would see these bags.
Chalk bags for climbing?
Yes. You would see them at like Sports Expert. They're like heavy duty, like quality. Really well done. She does it all by hand. She does it herself at home, that kind of thing, you know.
And she has an Instagram page.
Yeah, it's under Caltech.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my favorite. You can go on there and you can pick your colors. So that's what I love. So I have this beautiful tote bag from her.
Yeah, it's like a forest green and black.
Yes, I really love it. So, and it has like a little clip to keep everything closed.
It has pockets, like a bag has to have pockets.
Yes, so shout out to her. But yeah, that's my favorite. So I bring that all over the place. So
we're just full of the shout outs today.
Yeah.
We're being so generous. No, just kidding. Okay, first question.
Yes.
Would you rather have beautiful work or quality work? Now, this kind of stumped me. I'm like, what?
I know. Okay, so this was a question that we were given on Instagram, I do believe. Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know how to answer this, really.
It's going to be quick. This is going to be rapid fire.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Both. Okay. How the hell do you do one without the other, to me?
Exactly.
I don't, like, things could look like crap.
I'm not paying for crap.
Yeah, and then if it's quality. Like, beads are falling off, or you can see in between like your rope stitch or your whatever, like, no, then I won't want that either. For it. Yeah, so both, like, I can't sacrifice either or, you know.
No, I can't. And, you know, I want it to look nice up close, not just from far away.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. No, definitely.
Okay, what type of stabilizers do you recommend for various projects? Mocks, yokes, purses. Okay, before we get into rapid fire for that one, we had posted that you had recently finished your daughter's yoke, and somebody had also asked what material was used for the yoke. So, what stabilizer you use for a yoke?
Okay, I'm being mean here. Okay, I'm doing what you, not that you're mean, but like, I'm not telling a secret, I guess. Okay, but
good.
What is used on that yoke, I will tell, because that's not a secret. Yeah. I use cotton canvas.
Okay.
I have now changed it to something else, and I'm not telling. Okay. So on that one, it's a cotton canvas. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like it. I used it. It has a good whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I'm not telling the other stuff.
And
what else?
And if Nora says, what stabilizer do you recommend for mocks, purses, yokes, etc.?
Oh, it depends.
Okay. And if you want to know what I use, you got to take my pieces apart. There. Drop mic. Third question. What's the least or most amount of beads you use for it to raise nicely, meaning like your raised bead work?
That's to each their own, really. That varies. Like,
yeah, it depends on how much, like if it's something like you're wearing a pair of earrings or something and it's a small piece, you can't be so big. But if you're doing a yoke or cuffs somewhere where you have like mobility and you don't have to worry about bumping into things, I say, yeah, you can go big, but yeah, it depends on like what this item is, I think.
Yeah, and like I often get that question, so you have to really play around, because my height on my beadwork may not be like, I've had some people like, oh my God, no, I can't go that high, or oh, like, no, that's not enough beads for me, you know. Mm-hmm. So you have to play around with your numbers. You have to see what fits for you and what you like, and yeah, and that's it.
I think for the general, I would say, and I think somebody taught me this, or maybe I thought of it myself. I don't really think it was myself though, because I've had many teachers, is the distance you have from the start to the finish point of what you're beading, make sure you add at least 2 beads.
Oh, and see, I do 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So mine too. When I'm teaching people like first time raising, I usually say, okay, lay it flat and go back 3 beads. And then you'll get a bump, you know, so.
Okay, so fourth question. What is your favorite edging style, Margaret?
Mine, scallops.
Scallops. Me? I don't think I really have one. Depends on what it is. I really hate doing the triangles. Like the ones where it goes up and then you go down, it looks like a triangle. Teeth. just because like when you try to beat it, you can't beat it fast because you got to make sure that
You gotta
top
go through everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of them are more difficult than others.
Yeah.
Or cumbersome. What are the differences between Miyuki, Toho, Czech, Charlottes, etc.? I think we kind of talked about that already.
Yeah.
But there was somebody who
Cuts.
posted on Instagram a little small blurb about them, and I'm going to ask them if we can post it on our page. And so if we get approval, I'll do that. So we will just leave that question as it is. How long did it take you to master the correct tension?
We already talked about that at the shop. So it depends. It varies. If you're doing a yoke, you can't
No, how
pull
long
at
did
all.
it take you to master the correct tension?
Oh, how long?
Hers is still loose, everybody. No, just kidding.
Get out of here. No, loose. Oh my God, it's like that meme. You have loose beadwork. How long? I don't know.
It depends.
The whole time. The whole time, because you have to keep playing around with it. And
yeah, because if you're like material, like if you're stabilizer, like on a yoke, you can't pull you can't pull hard.
no.
It's going to be all like ruffly and bumbly and whatever. But sometimes you can get away with on a yoke though, because you have to remember, like when you're wearing a yoke, there's mobility. So what happens is that sometimes the eye can be deceiving.
Yeah.
And so it moves. So yeah, like you have to, you kind of really have to know. Sometimes you have to try things on, like to see, like in that case, yeah.
And it depends on your stabilizer. Like you said,
Yeah.
like Pellin is different because it dents a little bit. It kind of goes into the...
Oh, okay.
Which I'm just learning now because I just started using Pellin.
You pull so hard.
Yeah, so I'm having to like let up a little bit because
Yeah.
of cardboard. You could pull it real tight and it's fine. So it depends on your stabilizer too. you know,
Okay.
and whatever you're using.
This is something that I think you have a problem with, Margaret.
Oh, here we go.
How do you build stock?
Oh,
She's always saying, I'm going to wait. I'm going to save this. This is her classic.
okay.
Oh yeah, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this. And then it's then I miss the sale of it and it's gone.
Okay, so how do I build up stock? I don't. I have nothing to show for any of my
Neither do
beads.
I. I have nothing.
No, because you know what? This is my job. So I can say I want to, I'm going to build up stock. But then I have say 4 pairs of moccasins sitting there and I have a car payment coming out or I have to pay my damn hydro or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to sell it and I got to make money. So I try to I find the smaller little things. Like I still have some beadwork at the house. So I do have stock right now. And you know how here is a stupid way to keep stock. Don't finish them.
Okay. So you have only something to do and then
So I have 3 things that could be either car hangings. I don't know about a medallion.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of small, but yeah, they're a little bit smaller, but they're not done. I didn't do the backing, so I can't sell them. So they're all sitting there. So you want to keep stock, don't completely finish it until you have time.
Okay. How do you feel about line work? Do you enjoy it or dread it?
No. Do I hate it? Yes and no. Straight lines, I don't care. Curves, I hate curves. I hate them. I hate doing curls. I hate doing the little swirlies. I hate them.
Swirlies.
I'm not going to tell my secret on what I do. You'll have to take a class to learn that. No, but you know what? Sometimes some of the secrets are not just my secrets. I learned those from other people.
Yeah,
so I don't want to,
Like we said last time, to open Pandora's box.
Yeah.
You might hear the wrath of some mentor, some teacher.
Yeah. So I have learned how to do swirls better, but I don't always like doing it. It's more tedious. It's just more tedious. So
yeah.
Flat lines, straight lines, I don't care. I have other little tricks of the trade for those that I'm not sharing. So
I love line work. I love the classic look of it. I've always liked it, especially white. I love to hate it, but I love to do it. I love how it looks. So yeah, I love line work. But yeah, raised beadwork is a lot faster.
Yeah.
Except for the outlining. That's why you got to sometimes get away.
Yeah.
It's like, once that's done, once you outline whatever, then it's like smooth sailing, it seems like.
So I have a question. I'm just going to throw this right at you without thinking or without anything. Okay. So what are you going to say? What do you say right now to the people who are going to say, why aren't you sharing?
Because I don't want to tell you what I'm doing because that's my tricks. And find your own. There, I said it. What am I going to do?
Because I can hear it. You know what? There's so many times that...
Use 6 beads, use 7 beads. If you use 8, man, you are like whatever. No, I'm
Like
sending
me?
you right
No.
down the wrong path. Like, don't use 8 beads. The more beads you use to do line work,
The loose things are.
when it moves, you'll see the bend. You have to go small numbers and
Don't be
then
lazy
small numbers.
like me.
Yeah, like Margaret and I were talking about it. She said one time she used like 9, and I was like, what? She goes, but there was no movement, so it was fine. Hey, if you can get away with it and it works, then use it.
Yeah,
But
and it was for myself. It wasn't for a client.
I'm telling you now, everybody, line work, if you're doing the 1 needle method, now I don't know how to do 2
Ooh,
needle.
yeah.
That's not my style.
Oh my
I have to-
God.
So everybody, I use 1 needle method for line work. When I'm doing my small micro beads, everybody, if I'm using size 24 or size 22 beads, I'm going back through that shit, man. I ain't doing no 2 needle. It's 1 needle all the way.
Oh my God.
So like
2 needle is, I tried it very briefly, and shout out to anybody who does it, because it's hard. It's a lot of
I don't
work.
even want to attempt because I know it's going to take time to learn, and I ain't got time.
You got to really like, things got to be down. Like if you've ever attempted just to tack something down, like if you don't do it properly, then it bumps. You get a bump. So not only that, but when you are trying to keep 2 threads away from each other while you're beading, like so that they're not tangly and you don't have a big mess in the back, like that's what I had a hard time with. I kept like catching the other one, then sewing it in almost, and yeah, it's like there's a whole like strategy to all of it. It's kind of, yeah, I was like, oh no, I couldn't do it. I was just like, it's more work. It was more work for me to do.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how, and I don't want to take the time to learn. And you know what? And 1 needle works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that 2 needle is something else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so anyway, so if you're doing line work, again, I said for me, small number beads. There's my trick. That's as much as I'm giving away. No, just kidding. Okay, number 9, tips and tricks for making sure the cuffs don't slip when attaching to the mocks.
Tack them down.
Tack them down, plain and simple.
Tack them in the corner at the tops.
Yeah. What is the one material or technique that you won't go back to after discovering another way? I said cardboard.
This
Never.
was yeah, okay, so me too. I love my cardboard, but I probably don't. No, I don't really go back to it anymore.
And glue. I said no glue.
Well, I use glue, but I don't use that much.
I will use a dab. A dab here, a dab there.
A dab will do, yeah. But yeah, cardboard. Oh, I had more thoughts on this, and I forgot what it was. What would you not go back to doing?
What is the one material or technique that you won't go back to after discovering another way?
I can't think of it. I had a whole bunch of answers for that one, but yeah, cardboard is one, and I think that was it. For
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, so I'm going to shout out Terry Thomas, Beadwork, because she posted this on her Insta story. So shout out to Beadwork by Terry Thomas for posting this on her Insta story. And it was, do you bead for the wearer or for the viewer?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
all for the wearer.
Me too. I do it for the wearer unless specified otherwise. I'm not about that life. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I never
I don't
really
even care how crazy it looks to somebody on the outside. Even if it's upside down and it looks like whatever, I don't care. I'm making it for the wearer.
Yeah, me too. Like always.
Except for a yoke. Because you can't, you're not looking down. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
doing
that would be dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Reasonings behind that, even though we were just supposed to be quick, but they're ordering
That's
it.
for them. Yeah, for sure.
They're
Why would I
paying-
care what anybody else thought about it? I care about what they think about it. And I want
Yeah.
them to see it.
Yeah. So same.
Okay. Do you have any tricks to keep momentum if a project starts to lose its magic?
Do you have any tricks to keep momentum? Okay. Take a break.
I say start another project.
Yeah, that's it. I take a break from that project and I do something else. For a specific. Yeah, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet though if you got deadlines. But I think we talked about this before. Yeah, we had a whole lot. We talked a lot about this at the shop. That was a question we had.
About keeping momentum?
Yeah, but yeah, for me, I'll stop. I'll put it aside. I usually have side projects, in betweeners. I kind of call them.
Yeah.
Because no matter how much you love or hate a project, like it gets daunting after a while. Like my daughter's stuff, I love it. Like I can't wait to be done. But you know what? It sucks the life out of you sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, so I had to do stuff in between. What do I do though to get back to a project? For me, it's easy to find the creativity to start new projects, but to keep going is the battle all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times it has to be small, quick projects too, to get it out of your system. Like if I'm working on a huge, big project, I'm not about to start a whole nother regalia or like a whole nother a vase because it's going to take more time. So I throw in smaller stuff. Like, I don't know if it works. I'm pretty sure it works for everybody, but I get this like creative urge where I have to get it out of my system. If not, I'm laying in bed at night and I have damn colors going through my head and I have patterns in my head and it becomes obsessive and I have to get it out. And when you're working on a big project, you don't have that outlet because it becomes daunting because all the creativity has already been put into it. So you're really just going through the motions now. Yeah. So yeah, I have to do something small and quick. It could be a medallion. Sometimes I'll do even baby moccasins. Christ, I just did a stretch where I did like 6 in a week, like I have to bust it out. So, and then once that kind of subsides, then I can get back to big projects.
What I did is I had just finished a pair of moccasins because I have a fitting next week. Yes, I do fittings. Okay, maybe to go back, like when you want in terms of chit-chatting with customers or whatever, or like clients, do fittings, make sure people see all your stuff, Yeah. So I have a fitting coming up, and so I did my fitting. I have moccasins that I just completed, so I was just, tiddling around and doing whatever in my shop, in the studio. And I saw a pattern, I thought, oh man. So what did I do? I cut out little kid moccasins. I cut out the vamps. I think it's because I had a pair of cuffs that I had started some beadwork on and I didn't like how they looked because I used size 11. So I'm now using 15. So I had these cuffs. So I just then just transformed them into little small cuffs. Little small vamps. So I made the moccasins. I cut them all out. I did all that stuff, did all the prep in terms of that, except for the actual sewing of them up. And I got all the beads. I put them in a box and I got my creative momentum out. And now I'm going to start the other part of the project once I feel a little bit better. I don't want to be working on anything. And like I said, I was sick and I didn't want to be touching everything and all that kind of jazz. So
I have another one.
What?
So I have some friends who don't post until the project is completed.
Yes.
They don't post their processes or anything like that. So I'm a process poster, but
like you just did a dump of a process for your yoke.
I just, like a big one. And that was it sounds dumb, but I was losing steam on doing that. Like I have her cuffs left to do for her arm cuffs and her moccasin cuffs. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, but I got to get it done, obviously. And I have a deadline because I have to start another set. Yeah. And so this week I'm done. After this, I have to get it done.
Yeah.
So I, sometimes posting is my goal. So it's like, I have to get a certain amount done before I can post it. So that's a way too to keep you keep some of the magic alive, I guess, or try to get you back into doing it.
The buzz and the hype of it all, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's a boost.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Because I like to share, like a lot of people like to share their stuff and whatever. So,
and I'm going to say if you want to keep your name and continue to be relevant, and I think that's something we're trying to stay relevant as artists, you have to make yourself known and you got to show and make people interested.
Yeah, you have to hustle for your own name. You have to show, you have to take pictures, and it's, to each their own, whether you do it during the process, after the process, everyone's got their own style to do it. But if you want to be known, I guess, as a beadworker, how is anyone going to know?
Yeah. Exactly. You have to advertise and put yourself out there.
Yeah, so you have to do that. So I like to do that. I like to share, especially her yoke, man. I work my ass off on that thing. You posted that little video and me swearing and joking and I hate it. I hate the measuring and that whole set was all about measuring and making circles and all this crap. But I worked hard and I want to show, everyone what I did because I am super proud of it. And I loved it. I love it. I still love it. And, and I wanted to share.
And it's beautiful. And I have a piece that I want to share so bad. And I just I did one little glimpse or 2 little glimpses and I'm like, I love it, but I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just I can't wait.
Yeah. And see, I was going to wait to show the yoke to be done with everything, but I didn't. I showed the yoke, but now I'm going to wait. And once the moccasins and the cuffs are all done, then I'll do another.
I saw a little bit of the moccasin in the photo.
Yeah.
I zoomed in on that one.
Yeah, those are there a little bit, so... But yeah.
So we have been talking enough for you, hopefully, to have beaded one flower. Maybe flat line beaded, maybe 5 inches. And if you are listening currently to the Beading Table, tell us where you're listening from. Are you listening from your car? Are you listening in the airplane? Are you listening on the beach? Shout out to Grayson, Beadwork. She
tagged
us, and she was on the beach, and she had a birthday, and she was out there celebrating.
Way to go!
So happy belated from us, and let us know where you're listening from, and you have any maybe suggestions for our next podcast?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh no.
Who am I talking to?
I don't know. To the air. No, I don't know, man. We'll have to think on it and see.
Because we will be less than 2 months out from grad season, from the dreading date. I think I have an actual deadline of May something.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to remember, some people want their outfits not for just the grad, but for the graduation photos, which sometimes are before the actual graduation. Oh, Margaret has some dread in her eyes right now, like, oh man.
Oh, no. I am, you're getting your stuff the night before. No, like, I should put that in a clause, like, you will only receive your stuff, like, the night of. No, I need every second sometimes.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I think I've done that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if that's it.
Yeah, we're good.
So we are saying Yamako, everybody, for listening to the Beading Table from Tekaronhiahkhwa and I. We hope you have a fabulous day. Everyone stay safe and stay healthy. And we'll see you here next month.
Yep.
Wanikiwahi.
Ano.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Iorì and its employees.